It's something we are vulnerable to here, and we can take steps to improve the situation, and we must.
Do any of those steps require suspension of any of the Bill of Rights?
Oh, no, I don't think so. But, for instance, I think we need to give our law enforcement community what they asked for back on the terrorism bill, but the Congress didn't give them, and that was the right to have what we call a roving wiretap targeted to an individual rather than a telephone, because the bad guys are out there using multiple telephones, but a wiretap is usually for one phone, and that's got to change. We've got many things we can do within the confines and protections of the Bill of Rights that can improve our law enforcement, including human intelligence. We have to know there, though, that we're going to be dealing with bad guys. You don't get good intelligence on terrorism from Boy Scouts and from Rotary Club. You get them from bad guys, and we have to adjust, I think, in the Congress and in public opinion and certainly in the media to the fact that sometimes our CIA and our FBI and other intelligence groups have to deal with people who may later turn out to be very bad folks.
Mr. Ambassador, as a former ambassador, obviously you know a lot about people in nations in dread all the time, in danger, people like the nation of Israel and others. And as former mayor of a city that just had this, what's your thoughts on what Senator Nunn just said?
Well, I agree.
You looked at it from both sides.
I have, and I think that the joy of America is our freedom. And I don't think we have to sacrifice that. Again, I come back to the highways, because more people die on highways than die in wars in a given year. And we live with it. Now,
yeah, but we're not going to live with this, though, are we?
No, I don't think so. But we did things like seat belts. We did things like airbags. Mm-hmm. Gradually, we adjusted our lives without curtailing our freedoms. And also, nobody hesitates. I mean, the same corner where this accident occurred, I drive by 2 or 3 times a week, and I never think about going another way.
Yeah.
But this is the sickness that worries me here is one that I think we can do something about. I think that our society is moving forward so fast that there's some people that we're leaving behind, and they're frightened, they're sick, they're totally alienated. They get left out of our public school system or pushed out of our public school system. They don't have any way to get their children to college, or they're not sure about good jobs. They really don't share the basic American dream that we can better our future and we can solve the problems in our lives together.
So they produce anger.
They produce, it's a kind of a nihilism, a sickness, yeah, that I belong to a group of black men, 100 black men, that saw some of this in our black teenagers in one of our housing projects. They adopted a school. And within 3 years, they had every graduate of that high school going on to college. And
Senator Nunn, do you agree then with the Ambassador there are kind of 2 types of terrorism here?
Well, I agree with what Andy's saying about our society, and we have to address those issues, but we don't know here in this case, Larry, what the motives were and what kind of people were involved. And I think we can't attribute a sociological reason here until we catch the culprit. I also think it's good to take note of the fact that Unabomber was, I believe, went to the Ivy League, brought up in a prosperous family. There was no rich, poor there, or social alienation. This was at least the alleged Unabomber had this, and I think we need to keep in mind this could be from any cause, and there are multiple causes out there. That's what makes terrorism hard to deal with.
Do you also fear copycats, the worst, something happening tomorrow? And if you do, what can you do about it anyway?
Well, you tighten security, and you make sure that you do everything you can and still let the games go on. But again, I think Atlanta is a safe city. Crime has gone down in most parts of the city since the Olympics came, and I think that's going to continue, and people are having a good time. We're going to have some threats out there. Threats were normal in Los Angeles. They had something like 10 or 15, 20 a day there. So we're going to have other threats, and we're going to have to take security measures from time to time. But it's good when citizens are cooperating. I talked to a number of FBI people from out of the state today who had been here helping, and they said they'd never seen a state with such splendid citizen cooperation with law enforcement. So citizens are doing their part here.
We'll take a break and come back with more of Senator Sam Nunn and Andrew Young. We'll also take some of your phone calls. And then Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. By the way, Monday night on Larry King Live, William Webster, the former head of the FBI, will be with us. So, too, will Scottie Pippen, a member of the Dream Team, with his thoughts on what's been going on. We'll be right back.
First of all, the games will go on. I repeat, the games will go on. As I speak now, everything from the operational standpoint is ready. Buses are rolling. The athletes have been notified.
On Saturdays, your customers can receive 2-day packages from FedEx. Cost? An extra $10.
On Saturdays, your customers can receive 2 to 3-day priority mail packages from the U.S. Postal Service. Cost? $3. And there's no extra charge.
On Saturdays, your customers cannot receive 2-day packages from UPS. Sorry.
So, what's your priority? Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
How's your job?
Great. There's still a lot of stress, though.
You still getting those headaches?
Yeah, I actually went to the doctor. I thought they might be migraines. He said they weren't. He told me to take Tylenol, extra strength.
Tylenol? Not some prescription, huh?
The Tylenol works great, Dad.
More than aspirin, more than ibuprofen. For headaches, doctors recommend Tylenol the most.
You should have come to work for me, Julie.
Oh, sure. No stress there.
Watch this. I just with my powers.
This summer, experience the magic
I feel like I could move almost anything in the world.
and discover the power
How about carrot?
of Matilda. Wow. From the author of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach, Matilda, rated PG. At theaters Friday.
Some people feel the biggest difference between the Regal GS and other sports sedans is the way Regal's refined suspension system holds the road. However, others feel Regal's 36 inches of very generous legroom is something you just have to see to believe. Regal by Buick. The fine line between sport and sedan.
Let's get a call or two in for Andrew Young and Senator Nunn to Hartford, Connecticut. Hello.
Hello. I'm questioning why we as a nation would spend $230 million for security when we're cutting back so many programs for the needy. I think that it's wonderful to have a great time, but I'm in Mr. Young's camp that perhaps there are a lot of disadvantaged people that should be considered too, and maybe that's the reason something like this happened.
Do we have are our priorities out of whack, gentlemen?
I think that's true.
Well, let me take that on, because the Olympics is the largest economic generator in the South. We will generate almost twice that in taxes. The economic benefit to this region is in excess of $5 billion. Georgia has led the nation in economic growth for 5 years now, and largely it's been Olympic related and it's been private investment. The government expenditure is largely because we have so many heads of state, and it's a part of the kind of security we have to supply for the 197 nations that are represented here.
You agree, Senator Nunn?
Absolutely. You either don't do the Olympics in America or you provide the security required. It's one or the other.
Grand Ledge, Michigan. Hello.
Yes. Larry.
Go ahead.
Yes, I've got one major question. With all the security and the 25 to 30,000 people and all this, knowing that they had a central area with 21 acres, why did they not put remote cameras on all the areas to cover everything, saying, okay, go ahead, try to do this, but smile when you do because we're going to film you?
Andrew?
Yeah, I think, you know, we probably had more news cameras and camcorders in that park than any place else in America the last few days.
He means security cameras, though.
Well, I think, though, you can't, this is America. We might have limited access in some way, but it'd be virtually impossible to record the activities of close to 100,000 people a night that have been coming through that park.
Senator, are you confident that we're ready to meet this task, ready to spend the money, go the extra step?
I believe the American people will respond, Larry. We spent literally trillions of dollars defending not only ourselves but our allies and the whole idea of democracy and freedom during the Cold War from World War II on. We are safer today in America than we've been since World War II. People need to keep that in mind. We have less threat of nuclear war. We are the strongest country, conventionally speaking, conventional military capability in any country in the world. So we have less danger of being involved in a major catastrophe than ever before. But we are on the front line in terrorism, and we're going to be a target from time to time, and we need to deal with it. We've got a threat that we've got to deal with, and Senator Lugar and Domenici and I are tackling that one, and that is doing everything we can to prevent these pipe bombs from becoming chemical or biological or nuclear weapons.
And you can learn them on the internet.
That's exactly right, and we've got an empire that's collapsed. That's happened before in history, but never before having 30,000 nuclear weapons, 40,000 tons of chemical weapons. So the first thing we're doing in that regard is trying to help the former Soviet Union states, including but not limited to Russia, stop and handle safely that kind of material and that kind of know-how in their own countries. Second, this legislation we're proposing now would help them strengthen their own borders. And third, we would try to strengthen the borders here. Fourth, we would put a good bit of money, a number of $1 million in extra research and development, so we can do a better job at detecting explosives as well as chemical and biological weapons. And finally, most importantly, our local police and health officials and fire departments do not have the capability to respond to a chemical or biological attack or a nuclear attack now, so we're giving them some training and equipment. So we're starting down this road, and I think we'll be more vigorous as months and years go by.
Mr. Ambassador, we have less than a minute. Are people leaving Atlanta? Have you noticed any exodus?
No, actually, they're staying. My children had planned to leave today, and they said, no, we can't leave today. We'll stay till Monday. People were angry at this. They were disturbed that there was anybody that missed the point. This is what the Olympics, this is what America's all about. Every 4 years demonstrating that we know that God made of one blood all of the nations of the world, and we can compete on the athletic field, we can share culturally, we can live at peace. 197 nations were willing to do that. One or two guys blew it.
Thank you both very much. Ambassador Andrew Young, Senator Sam Nunn. We'll take a break and come back with the Speaker of the House of Representatives in his city, Newt Gingrich. Don't go away.
Say, if you like cheese, but not the fat and cholesterol of cheese, please try my delicious Smart Beet fat-free slices. This is our brand new flavor seal. It's kind of fun to open. Smart Beet has the only slices with 0 fat, 0 cholesterol, and 0 lactose. Serve them cold or grill them. Either way, they have a great cheddar taste. Smart Beet, the only slices with 0 fat, 0 cholesterol, 0 lactose. You could say cheese, but go for Smart Beet.
The runners are getting ready.
Wir warten auf den Startschluss.
Как сенсуга старта и финисуга старта.
Състезателите се подготвят за старта.
Salida tan rápida.
È una partenza veloce.
Edwin, llama a Coquela.
Edward se está sacando ventaja, él es el favorito.
Може би ще има нов олимпийски рекорд.
Jackson's pulling away.
From the Arctic to Zimbabwe, the world will witness the drama of the 1996 Olympic Games through the eyes of Panasonic digital technology. And for a few brief moments, 3.5 billion hearts will beat as one. Panasonic, we're more than a sponsor. We're part of the team.
We're always here. No matter how difficult the story, no matter how remote the place, shedding light on world events 24 hours a day. CNN, CNN International, Headline News, CNN FM, and CNN Interactive, bringing news and information to 500 million people in over 200 countries. It's how the world gets enlightened. The networks of CNN, the world's news leader.
A deadly bomb explodes in Olympic Park. For the latest details and perspective, tune into a CNN special presentation, The Olympic Park Bombing, 10 p.m. Eastern on CNN.
Get this 35mm Kodak FunTime camera with flash free. There's absolutely no purchase necessary to get this Kodak camera free from the Craftmatic Adjustable Bed Company. Just preview our beds before you buy any bed.
I hate this bed. You look so miserable in that ordinary flat bed. You need an adjustable bed. Look, Craftmatic's affordable money-saving Model 2 and 3 beds adjust to all these comfortable positions, offer optional heat and massage, yet cost 50 to 75% less than many quality flat beds. 50 to 75% less. Call to get this free catalog by mail.
Call toll-free and we'll mail you a coupon for your free Kodak camera. Plus information on the adjustable beds that cost 50 to 75% less. To get your free camera coupon, call now.
Call toll-free 1-800-822-9800. That's 1-800-822-9800. Toll-free 1-800-822-9800.
This is CNN.
You're watching a live edition of Larry King Weekend. We'll talk with the Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, after an update from Washington and Gene Meserve. Gene?
Larry, law enforcement officials tell CNN they could be just days away from making an arrest in the bomb attack at Atlanta's Centennial Olympic Park. Amateur photographer Robert G. captured the scene on video. One person was killed and 111 others injured. A Turkish journalist died of a heart attack while trying to cover the story. Officials say 3 pipe bombs were tied together in a knapsack. Georgia Governor Zell Miller is praising officers with the State Bureau of Investigation for their quick action in evacuating the crowd. Earlier, CNN spoke live with the first law enforcement official to discover the bomb.
They were listening to a concert, and we were trying to be as discreet about it as possible. We didn't want to cause a rampage or anything to that effect, and so we started at the back and slowly we're trying people to move out of the area. And then once we actually determined that there was a suspicious item, we tried to get as many people out of the area as we could, but we got about 150 people off the grass area right directly in front of the bomb before it exploded.
CNN's Bill Hemmer is standing by near Olympic Stadium. Bill, what's the latest there?
Yeah, Gene, listen, behind me, the track and field event continues here at Atlanta's Olympic Stadium. We were just east about a block from that stadium. Police say tonight that the crowd was very well behaved and things went rather well. In fact, we got some videotape of people coming into that stadium tonight. About 80,000 people came to the stadium tonight, and police say people were glad that they would indeed check their bags. In fact, one officer told me, a woman said, "Please do what you have to do. Check my bag. I want to be safe." However, in a different part of Atlanta tonight, it is a different scene. At the Olympic Park, the site of that bomb last evening, it is closed and remains closed this evening. In fact, Billy Payne, the ACOG president, the head of the Olympic Games here in Atlanta, was talking earlier that the park is indeed closed now. However, he anticipates it will open sometime soon. Here's Billy Payne.
The park, for the first 8 days, served as the wonderful gathering place we had intended it to be. It was where the Olympic spirit was made manifest, shared between Atlantans and our visitors. The last 18 hours, it's been a much different atmosphere. I'm confident that the park will return during the games, significantly after the games, while preserving the memory of the grief we've experienced today, will still be a great legacy for this community.
Again, Billy Payne, president of ACOG. The games continue tonight. So do the crowds. The atmosphere is good. The attitude is up. And as you can tell, people are festive and in a good mood tonight. Gene, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Stay with CNN for continuing coverage of the Olympic bombing. We'll air an hour-long special on the bombing coming your way in 30 minutes from now at 10 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for watching. I'm Gene Meserve in Washington. Now back to Larry King Weekend. Larry.
Thanks, Gene. A live edition tonight, and our next guest, he'll be with us for the remainder of this program, is Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. This is his town. This is a sad day. What's your read on all of this, Mr. Speaker? What's going on?
Well, I agree, first of all, with the point Andy Young made earlier that this is tragic. It's infuriating. Our hearts go out to the families who've lost someone and to those who are in a hospital tonight because of the act of some terrorist. At the same time, I was at a number of places today. We went and saw weightlifting. We went to watch women diving, and a number of other things, talked to people all around the city. I think the mood of the city is very, very positive. I think people who came here for the Olympics are determined not to let terrorists stop them from enjoying this historic moment. And you can see in the crowds tonight in the stadium for the track events that there's just a tremendous turnout and still a tremendous Olympic spirit welcoming the entire world to Atlanta.
Nonetheless, though, and you're a student of this kind of thing, why human beings do what they do, this is going to have some after-effect impact, isn't it? This is not a one-day story.
No, of course, it's not a one-day story for a lot of reasons. But I think it's partly a reminder coming after the bombing in Saudi Arabia, whatever has happened with the TWA flight, and we don't know yet what the details are going to lead us to know there. Coming after yesterday's incident with the hijacked airplane, the world is dangerous. It's dangerous in America, unfortunately. For a long time, we were much less dangerous than other parts of the world. But terrorism is here to stay for the foreseeable future. We're going to have to make adjustments in law enforcement, adjustments in our intelligence services, and be prepared to proactively go after and anticipate terrorist behavior. But at the same time, in a large, complex society, I think there will always be the potential for somebody to find some way to do painful things. I think it's particularly infuriating and saddened to have it done at the Olympics because of the sense of why the Olympics were created as a way of bringing people together in a peaceful, competitive, joyful environment. I think it makes it particularly sad to have it happen here.
Can we do it, Mr. Speaker, above politics? Both Mr. Dole and President Clinton said that today. Is that possible that this exceeds all of that?
Well, I think we've always been pretty good as a country at putting America above politics when it comes to the survival of our country, to the survival of freedom, to protecting people. And I think we're in that kind of situation here. I talked to FBI Director Free today and earlier talked with the President, and then just before the show talked with Mac McLarty, the President's counselor. I think that there's a real desire to approach this in a bipartisan way. Senator Nunn and I have talked twice today about things we might do together in terms of steps we could take to strengthen our anti-terrorist capabilities. And I do think there's a desire here as Americans to respond forcefully in creating a better capacity to deal with terrorism all around the world. Remember again, Saudi Arabia, potentially the TWA flight, although we don't know for sure and we shouldn't jump to conclusions, but just constant reminders that there are dangers everywhere, including here at home.
Do you expect the action to be swift?
I think that law enforcement at this stage is never swift in the movie sense. It never quite works like it does in the movies. But I do believe there is a massive effort underway. I think that if everybody who has film or video taken at the park last night will call the 800 number that I know CNN has been sharing along with the other networks, the FBI is very painstakingly working with Georgia and Atlanta officials. They are very painstakingly going through this. I've talked to them several times today. I think they believe they have a high potential. Again, I think it takes time. You're never guaranteed certainty. But in this particular case, there are some reasons to be moderately optimistic that we'll bring somebody to trial. Now, when we do find them and we do arrest them, then our judicial system's very slow and very ponderous to protect the innocent. And so you never quite get the kind of justice you would in Lethal Weapon 4 or 5.
We'll be right back with more Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich. This is Larry King Weekend. Don't go away.
Go back right now. Let's go. Go back.
A sparkling ship on crystal waters is coming.
Absolutely gorgeous. It was so much fun.
The perfect lobster is coming.
Our waiters, they would do anything for us, any time.
Perfection is coming.
A gift from the captain.
Memories are coming. 7 days in Royal Caribbean's Caribbean are coming. You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
There you go.
You know what, Grandpa?
What?
Oh, Mommy said that Grandma's pizza will make your heart burn.
My heartburn. Oh, heartburn. Well, your mommy doesn't know about my secret weapon for heartburn. Pepsid AC. See, I always take one before I eat your grandma's pizza.
So your heart won't burn?
Not even if I put green peppers all over the whole thing.
Green peppers, you eat those things?
Yes.
I like anchovies.
You can be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Sure, you're a successful investor. But what might it take to become even more successful? What if there were an easier, more convenient way to trade? More information, more choices. Enter Fidelity Investments. Call Fidelity Discount Brokerage Services, and you'll have the resources of one of Wall Street's most experienced traders at your fingertips. Imagine placing trades for stocks, bonds, and mutual funds 24 hours a day, in person, over the phone, even from the comfort of your living room. You'll have easy access to independent research and analysis because the better informed investor is often the more successful investor. Plus, you'll get some of the lowest margin rates in the industry and save up to 76% in commissions, more if you trade electronically. Call Fidelity now. Open a brokerage account and your first trade is free. So, isn't it time you had Fidelity Investments working for you?
We're back. Before we take our first call for Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, has this caused you, as chairman of that convention, to think about beefing up security for the Republicans in San Diego?
Well, not really. I think that they're going to do everything they can in San Diego to make sure that we have a fully secure convention. But, you know, Larry, this is a problem anytime you have a Super Bowl or you have a major college ball game or you have a graduation exercise. When you bring a lot of people into a room, if there's a terrorist who's trying to achieve something, you create a potential target. And I think all of us have to recognize that we have tremendous law enforcement capability in this country, and we're certainly going to be applying it both in Chicago at the Democratic Convention and in San Diego at the Republican Convention. But there's always a potential danger, and that's just a fact of life in the late 20th century.
Greensboro, North Carolina, as we go to calls for Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Hello.
Yes, Newt.
Yes.
Larry, hey.
Hi.
I'd like to know why something isn't being done to control the information that's going over the internet worldwide. If a 13-year-old can get information off a computer to make a bomb, then we're all in trouble.
Well, it's an objective fact that the internet's a very wide open system. It's sort of like an electronic library. And just as a smart person can go to a major library and get an amazing amount of information, you can now dial up how to make a bomb. You can dial up, frankly, how to make a nuclear weapon. This is, again, part of what we have to confront. The information age has many good things. It has many breakthroughs in medicine and in healthcare and in education. It also has some real dangers, and one of those dangers is the spreading of knowledge of how to really hurt a lot of people, and it's unavoidable. It's out there. You can't censor it. You can't stop it. What you've got to do is have the intelligence capabilities to intercept and try to stop terrorists before they become effective.
Atlanta, Georgia. Hello.
Hello, Larry. How you doing?
Fine.
Look, I just wanted to know, are any of the militias in and around Georgia or possibly from anywhere being investigated in this matter? And if they are, if by chance a militia is involved, I don't think that they should have any rights. They shouldn't be included in the bill.
Everybody has rights. Are people thinking militias here, Newt?
I don't think we're thinking anything yet. I don't think we know yet, but I think that the lady just called in put her finger on the great dilemma of being an American. You know, we would like to have a quick trial so we can lynch the person that we've already convicted, but that's not how America works. In America, the most despicable person has the absolute protection of the Constitution. They have to have a fair trial. They have to be found guilty by a jury of their peers. They have to have the right to appeal. And I think if she reflects on it, no American is going to want to give in to terrorism and start to create a police state here. What we want to do is strengthen our security forces, strengthen our intelligence capabilities, go after terrorists, and if they are caught and they're found guilty, then I frankly favor strongly the death penalty for any terrorist who kills innocent people. But I think we have to have every protection, and that's part of the joy of being American, is to protect those freedoms.
Dover, New Jersey. Hello.
Hello, Larry.
Hi.
I've been wondering all day why the authorities have not released a tape from that 911 call. It's a great voice composite. Maybe somebody heard this guy.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer, and I'll ask the FBI, who I suspect are watching this show, so they'll already have a reason. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. Possibility may be that the person who called in fact, is not the perpetrator, and that if you release their voice, the person who called in might well be eliminated by the perpetrator if they recognize it. I don't know what the police reason is, and I'll ask.
Atlanta, hello.
Good evening, Larry, Mr. Gingrich.
Good evening.
I'd like to put my question to Mr. Gingrich. Newt, do you feel that the monies that we've spent on the offshore defense of our country may now have to be turned, within our defense budget, turned to defending ourselves from basically our own selves inside the borders?
Well, I hope not. Again, I don't think we should rush to judgment about who's doing this or what it means. Remember that the World Trade Center bombing was done by people basically from outside the United States. The Oklahoma City bombing, even more savagely to my heart, was done by Americans, which I found the most incomprehensible thing, that an American would do something like the Oklahoma City bombing. There may be some people who are, frankly, I think deranged, like whoever the Unabomber is. We think we've caught the suspect, but that person over all those years sending those bombs, you have to think there's something profoundly wrong in that case, and we need to deal with it. On the other hand, if you're talking about foreign organized terrorism, I think that's still a legitimate part of our national defense and our intelligence agencies.
Back with more. Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich on Larry King Weekend. Monday night on Larry King Live, Scottie Pippen, a member of the Dream Team, and former FBI Director William Webster will be the guests. Don't go away.
Her name is Janet. She believes in controlled aggression. She believes in the genuine kick of adrenaline. She believes there's more than one way to fly. She believes dolphins shouldn't have all the fun. Seville STS with the North Star system. Great performers create a higher standard.
Every day, millions of customers count on GTE people, GTE quality, GTE reliability. So if you think telecommunications have only complicated your life, there's one company you can count on for help. GTE. Amazing.
At Lockheed Martin, the mission continues to make good on the promise of space and on promises back home. Protect mankind and our environment from today's hazards, and to defend against tomorrow's threats. At Lockheed Martin, our mission goes beyond creating new and better technologies. It's using technology to create a better life. Lockheed Martin, mission success.
Everywhere we look, we are inspired by what we see. These inspirations are the basis for the things we create. The ideas we return to the world. Samsung. The world inspires us.
Mr. Speaker, Senator Arlen Specter said today on Evans and Novak that we may be within 2 days or 3 days away from finding out the cause of the TWA accident. Have you heard that?
Well, that may be true, and we certainly hope that that's true. But again, you know, I don't think those of us who are not in the laboratories, who are not diving off Long Island, who are not in the middle of that ocean, I don't think we ought to put undue pressure on the people who are doing all they can both to bring up the bodies in what's got to be a very painful and very difficult experience, and to make sure we get the right information and we do the right laboratory work. I'd rather have the correct judgment a day late than the wrong judgment a day early. So I'm willing to be patient. I know that there's thousands of people working to find out what happened to the TWA flight, and we just have to keep our fingers crossed and frankly pray both for the families that lost loved ones, but also for the people who are literally out there risking their lives in that ocean today.
You said you spoke to the president today. What about?
Well, we talked shortly after his press conference this morning, which I thought was very well done and exactly appropriate. And we just talked about the need to recognize that the tremendous job had been done here in Atlanta, that the federal, state, and local officials had really worked very hard. They had 40,000 volunteers involved, and that this was really a tremendous all-out effort, and frankly, to reassure people. And I can say that when I was out during the course of the day today, we were over at Georgia Tech at the diving venue. We were at Emory with the women's gymnastic team, and then we were back here at the World Congress Center watching weightlifting and seeing a world record established. Wow. The crowds were tremendous. People were very positive, and I think that the mood is very, very good, frankly, among the people who are here for the Olympics.
We'll be back with our remaining moments with Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich on Larry King Weekend. Tomorrow night, a CNN Time 90-minute special hosted by Bernard Shaw in this time period, all about what we're talking about. We'll be right back.
Looks like you've been grinding a bit, Michael.
That's kind of
That's great.
All right. I gotta
You know, at the Olympics, IBM has technologies from 10 different companies working together. They might be able to help you.
I hope so.
Good. Now rinse.
Thanks, Harry.
Everywhere we look, we are inspired by what we see. These inspirations are the basis for the things we create. The ideas we return to the world. Samsung. The world inspires us.
On the next National Geographic Explorer, these powerful giants are being trained by man, but this is no circus act. Their lives could depend on it. Garumba Elephant School, 9:30 Eastern Sunday. Turn to TBS.
We're back on Larry King Weekend with Newt Gingrich. Do you have some major concerns about next week?
Well, I've had major concerns all along. I went through a briefing about a week before the Olympics and saw the security backdrop. I thought it was very impressive, but I also know that there are people in the world who hate what we stand for. There are people in the world who want to hurt us, and that tragically there's always the potential. So I worry every day about it. But I think people here have done a great job. I think that, frankly, this is probably as secure as any city in the world tonight because of the sheer energy and effort of thousands of people from the FBI to the local police to the state law enforcement to volunteers. You know, the opening night, when they sang the Star-Spangled Banner, they repeated the closing refrain, land of the free and home of the brave. It takes courage to be free, and I think we have an obligation to stand up to terrorism, to recognize the world may be dangerous, but we're not going to be bullied, we're not going to be blackmailed, and I think it's important that people are continuing to participate and to be involved. What we have to do is strengthen our law enforcement, strengthen our intelligence services, go after the bad guys, but not give in to fear and not give in to any sense of allowing them to blackmail us.
Will a bipartisan Congress act swiftly?
I believe we will. Senator Nunn and I have discussed it. I'm absolutely certain that we're going to work very closely together on trying to get some things done in the near future. And as early as next week, we may have some proposals that strengthen our ability to work both domestically and overseas in a unified way in tracking and fighting terrorist organizations.
Andy, is the anti-terrorism bill that just went into effect going to help?
It does help. As the President cited this morning, it does increase, for example, the effectiveness of using the death penalty. It helps in strengthening the FBI and other intelligence activities. It is some major steps in the right direction. There's a provision in the defense bill that I strongly support that would allow us to call on the military expertise on chemical and biological weapons. You remember, Larry, recently the incident in Japan in the subway involving chemical weapons. We need that capability available here at home as well as overseas to fight those kind of really frightening potential dangers. And I think beyond that, we need to find a way to have an all-source intelligence capability that ties the CIA and the FBI and other sources into one unified anti-terrorist effort.
We only have about a minute and a half. Anything you could say to people about fear?
Well, let me say, first of all, my brother and my sister-in-law and my nephew and niece are on the way down here. They're going to spend a good part of next week in Atlanta going to the Olympics, and I certainly encourage them to do that. I don't think anyone should fail to experience this wonderful event because of a random terror act. I think that we have to recognize that if you get in an airplane, it can be dangerous, as Andy Young said. If you get in an automobile and get in the car, it can be dangerous. The world always has potential risks, but there are thousands of people working day and night here in Atlanta to make sure you have a very remarkable experience and that you truly enjoy the 100th anniversary of the Games and these Centennial Games. And I would hope people would feel free to come and to enjoy and to be part of that experience. And today, everywhere I went, that was what was happening. People were having a wonderful time and a great experience they'll treasure all their lives.
You sound awfully proud of your city.
I think Atlanta's done an amazing job. But I'm also proud of the country. I think we've done a great job. And when you look at Saudi Arabia, you look at the TWA incident, you look at last night here in Atlanta, it just plain makes you mad and it makes you determined we're going to do what it takes we're going to get the bad guys, and in the future we're going to get a lot better at stopping them before they hurt innocent people.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Stay tuned for more. Another special program coming up on CNN dealing with all this. Tomorrow night, a CNN Time special hosted by Bernard Shaw, 90 minutes. Monday night on Larry King Live, Scottie Pippen of the Dream Team will come on to talk about this very topic and the continuance of the Olympics, and former FBI Director William Webster. For all of us here in New York, everyone in Atlanta, and at our bureaus around the world, thanks for joining us. This is Larry King. Good night.
This is the place for coverage of business and financial news from early morning till night. This is CNN.
It's a jam-packed week of pay-per-view movies on TCI. There's comedy with Steve Martin in Father of the Bride Part 2, and Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau are back in Grumpier Old Men. Leslie Nielsen is Dracula, Dead and Loving It, and Pauly Shore gets busy in Biodome. Need some romance in your life? It's the acclaimed Sense and Sensibility. Then it's Christian Slater in Bed of Roses, and don't miss Whitney Houston in Waiting to Exhale. Don't stand in line at the video store. Order TCI pay-per-view today.
We're near the end of our first ever summer sell down at the Ron Tonkin Toyota Superstore. That's right, just a few days left of special prices on new Toyotas brought in for the final days of this sale. We've marked huge savings on everything in stock. That includes our most popular models like Camry, Tercel, Tacoma, and the all-new RAV4. If you've been waiting for the right Toyota and the right price, don't wait any longer. Get into the summer sell down today while selection is great at Ron Tonkin Toyota out 122nd Way.
If your vacation travel is going to be a bit hectic this summer, let the Weather Channel help. Before you leave, why not check out the 5-day report, the weekend outlook, and the Michelin Driver's Report for road conditions? Got a computer? Visit the Weather Channel's webpage at www.weather.com for detailed area forecasts. Traveling close by? Don't miss the Pacific Update. So before you take off this summer, check the Weather Channel on TCI. You'll be glad you did.
How much do you pay for a minute of long distance to someone who's, say, 3,000 miles away?
Ooh, over $1 a minute.
Guess again. 60-some cents. No matter how far away, it's just 10 cents a minute with Sprint Cents.
And TCI customers who call now save up to $4.95 a month on a TCI Choice Theaters package for a year.
You mean across the whole country? 10 cents to Hawaii? Amazing how far a dime will go.
Call now and save up to $4.95 every month for a year on a TCI Choice Theaters package.
This is CNN.